Hi, Donovan here. Today I'm going to show you how to rewick and recoil a Kanger T3. Okay, so they come like this, and sometimes the coils do eventually go. So what we're going to do is we're going to disassemble this first. We have on top, we have our grommet, which we are going to slide up and off the center column. We are going to set that aside. We do not want to lose that because that has to go back on there. Now we are going to take the center post off of the base. How we're going to do this, I'm going to hold on to this. I'm just going to wiggle this back and forth, and the post is going to pull out like this. There we go. There's the post. We'll set that by the grommet. Laying on top is two little wicks. We're going to get rid of that because that's the downfall in the Kanger assembly for when you want to clean your coils when stuff is starting to taste burnt. And then we have, inside here, we have our wicks and coils here. So I'm just going to show you, these coils are actually good. They don't need to be fixed, but they're firing quite nicely. You'll notice that Kanger's coils are always skewed out and stuff like that, so I've noticed that with every Kanger coil I've seen. Okay, so to get down to the nitty-gritty, we got to take this apart, get the coils and the wicks out of there so we can put new ones in. So what we're going to do is we are going to use our needle nose pliers, and there's a little metal thing in there that we are going to grab, and I'm going to pull that out just like so. There we go. So there's our positive connection there. And inside there's another little rubber grommet. We're going to grab that. We're going to pull that out. And look, our wick and our coil came out right with it, okay? So there's the Kanger wick and coil. You can see that. Okay, we're going to set that aside. We don't need those anymore. Okay, so now we've got our grommet, we've got our metal piece, and we've got our base. Okay? We're going to set that aside. What I'm going to do is I am going to fire up the blowtorch, and we are going to, this is 2mm Ekowool, and we're just going to heat that up. Now the reason I'm doing this is heating the Ekowool up really good is because it will fray pretty badly if you don't blowtorch it first. So we're just going to blowtorch that Ekowool, get her glowing red hot. There we go. And we'll shut that off for, we'll leave that running for a sec. And we'll let the Ekowool cool down. And while that's cooling down, I'm going to take some 32 gauge Kanthal, cut a piece of that. Set the Kanthal aside. Now I'm just going to heat up that Kanthal to take the springiness out of it. Okay. Grab the other side here. And there we go. That's good. So now we've got our Kanthal, we've got our wick. Now I'm going to wrap the coil. Now the assembly that was in the Kanger was 2.5 ohms. So I'm going to wrap this 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 times. Okay, I'm just going to get that last piece of it over. And we're going to call that good. Okay, so something like that. We're going to squish our coils in together. There we go. Pull those ones apart a little bit. Push that one in. There we go. And we're going to call that good. Okay, so now we're going to take our nail clippers and we're going to cut that right like so. There we go. So that's 2mm Ekowool. Ekowool is, from my perception, the evolution of vaping for drippers and for building coils and stuff. Now what I'm going to do is I need to get these two little pieces of wire. Down through the center of this column here. I'm going to stick that down through there. Oops, what am I hitting there? There we go. And we're going to get that right there. We don't want that coil touching the sides. I'm going to take this one. I'm just going to fold that up to the side. And there we go. So I've pulled one of these pieces of Kanthal over to the side here. I'm going to bend it down. There we go. I'm going to take the grommet. I'm going to stick it over this piece of wire right here. Now this seems to be, now I've got to get that grommet pushed back down and into that coil area there. And this is a part that a lot of people tend to have problems with. I use a smaller Phillips head screwdriver, and I am just going to pop that into the center and then push it down and in. Oops. There we go. Push her down in. And there she goes. I just want to make sure that's good and even over here. That's not touching because we don't want to short. Okay, so now we need to put the steel pin back in. So we're going to grab that with our needles pliers, like so. And I'm just going to push that back down into the middle and push it in. There we go. Now I have my little pieces of wire hanging out here, which I need to clip off. Let me get my dental pick. We're going to need that in a second. I'm going to try and get in there with those pliers and cut that right off. I'm going to snip that wire off. And we are going to snip this wire off. Now, I don't want any wire sticking out around the sides. Just gonna, there we go. Now we're going to want to just throw this on the Vamo for a sec and check the resistance. And it's 1.7 ohms. I'm just going to fire that up. We'll have a look at that. There we go. It's firing up really nicely. I'm going to actually try and pull it over a little bit. There we go. Firing very nicely. Okay. So now we take the column and stick the column back over that, push it down, and now we're going to trim our wicks. We're going to trim this off right here. And we're going to trim the side off right here. There we go. And now we need to put our grommet back on. There we go. And then we're going to fill it up with juice and see how it vapes. There we go. We're going to use some pineapple. Give it a little shaky shake. And remember when you're filling your Kangers not to fill over the little metal center post there, or else you'll have a juice catastrophe. It'll be all over the table. We're going to tip that to the side and we're just going to fill her up with juice, just like this. Here we go. Filling it up with juice. There we go. Now we're going to just stick this back down into the center hole. Screw her down. And now we want that juice to wick into that Ekowool. We're just going to give it a little shake. Give her a couple, we'll screw it on a battery. That was 1.7 ohms, so we are going to run that probably about 3.6 volts should be good. We'll see how that works. We'll screw that onto an Eco battery. And see how it vapes. Let's give it a couple primer puffs. I'm just going to, without firing the battery, I'm going to suck the juice into the wicks. There we go. And turn the voltage up a little bit. Let's turn it up to 3.8. And that tastes like pineapple. That's a lot better flavor than regular silica. And yeah, so that's how you rewick and recoil a Kanger T3 with 2mm Ekowool. Happy vaping.